What is up, friends and family? How's it going? What's up, chat? Hey, we've got a special night for you tonight. Little surprise Sunday stream. Who doesn't love a surprise Sunday stream? I know I do. I really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, I'm lurking on Dub Liddy's account right now. uh, gotta sneak one of them in there. You know what I'm saying? But what do we got? What do we got? Ooh, top chat. We want live chat to see all of our friends over there on the YouTube. See what's going on here. Um, Tonight, I will be joined by a special guest, a good friend of mine. Maybe you know him, longtime friend of the pod. Mr. Adam Lee will be joining us this evening to chat about all things Spider-Man pre-release, which we did. I don't know if you did over the weekend. Hopefully you did. I always say give it a shot. Go do the thing. And crazy things will happen. Fun things will happen. I had a lot of fun. But we'll talk a little bit about that more here once we get Adam in here into the pod here. And then we'll kind of do it the old school way. We'll count us down so we can record this for podcasting purposes. So that's our plan. That's our ploy. Oops. If you're new here to the chat, make sure you say hello. Drop a comment, drop a like, drop a follow. We appreciate all the support we can get. I am Nate. I'm one of the knights here at the Nerd Table, and we do pretty much every nerdy thing you can ever think of. If it's nerdy, we like to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully. We've been live for a couple minutes here. What's up, Jackie Lee? How's it going? Do you play Magic the Gathering? You interested in a little... Did you do the pre-release event this weekend? We're going to talk about some of our observations, and I have a couple spicy takes, I think, that I happen to think might be original. You never know. You never know. But hit that follow. We appreciate that follow on every way. Let's see here. This is what you don't see in, the perfected edits of the internet, is all the behind the scenes struggles it takes to get two people on one podcast at the same time. But we're almost there. What's up? Bible with Noah is the whole handle. So many words. I would just probably call you Noah. Feels short and sweet. Did you do the pre-release event this weekend? Are we Magic the Gathering fan? Great question. Great question. Boom. Let's put some ads over here. Oh. If I can flip this.
Yellow.
Yo, what's up, Adam? How's it going?
We hanging in there. We getting ready for some paternity leave tomorrow. Finishing up
Nice.
some last minute things.
We are currently live, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of count us down a little bit, so I can chop this up and edit it for a in podcast form as
You got
well.
my face cam on?
That's up to you.
Are you actually gonna do video? I guess the question is, are you gonna do video?
Yeah, definitely do the video.
Okay.
But
I
if you
got
want
you.
like to be mysterious, you can.
Just wear a mask so I don't
Yeah.
have face reveal. For all the people that have already seen me.
Spider-Man mask. You got one?
Oh, that would have been actually
That
clutch.
actually would have been clutch.
Didn't think that through.
Dang. Oh, perfect. Nice. Ooh, your office is so clean. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to count us down. We're going to start this. We're already live on Twitch right now. We're live on YouTube right now. And I will edit a full version for all of our adoring fans and put this up on later. So I'm just going to count us down so I know where we are. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? My name is Knight. I'm a nerd here at the Nerds Table. Tonight, I'm joined with a former Storm champion, actually, Mr. Adam Lee.
Hey.
And we
What's up, everybody?
hit the pre-release event. We're going to talk a little bit about our experience. We're going to try to answer the big questions of pre-release, which one, is it fun? And two, what did we learn? What did we learn from this event? So normally when me and Adam get together and we do these things, we play a best of 3. We keep our constructed decks. We don't, de-sleeve or anything like that yet. And we do a best of 3. However, tonight we don't need to because Adam already whomped me in round 2 of this event. Just steamrolled me the first game. And I held on for longer than I should have in the second game, but he did eventually close me out. But I'd love to introduce
I will
Adam.
say in
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
will say in
Adam.
Nate's
Introduce
defense.
yourself there.
Yeah. So I will say in Nate's defense, he got flooded and then mana screwed the other game. So cards did not go his way. But yeah, I'm Adam. Some people will know me as Blue Bus Bandit. Been a friend of the channel for a little bit. Love playing Magic with Nate. Love going to as many events as we can. Now that life's changed, we both have kids, we don't get to do it as much. But hey, when we can capitalize, we capitalize.
Agreed. So I want to get right into it because, just like you said, we're a couple of dads with babies that are asleep, and we need sleep too. So life happens, and that's part of the gig. If you are watching and you have questions, just drop them in the chat, and maybe we can get to them. Maybe we don't. But I wanted to start with first just the sealed format, right? The construction, you get a promo card. I didn't use my promo card. Did you end up using your promo card?
That last round that I totally wanted to just change it up and try a different build, I ended up throwing it in there, but I never saw it that game.
And then how many packs do you get? 6?
We got 6, yeah.
Yeah, so you get 6 packs. You're building a 40-card deck or a minimum of 40 cards. And with this set, here's what I'll say. This set kind of like tells you what to build out of the box based on the cards you pull because it's a very synergistic set with a small amount of color pairs. So I pulled a lot of blue-black cards. So like obviously it really wanted me to play villains, which is kind of the archetype connive villains, which was really obvious. A lot of my rares were either blue or black. That's the direction. It was just clear for me to go. That's the direction I built. I didn't hate my deck at all. I made a couple tweaks that I thought I should have maybe made earlier. But for the most part, I ended up building blue black villains. Adam, what did you build?
So I started off. I had kind of a mixed bag of stuff. I think a lot of my rares and my promo wanted me to go more of the blue black route that you wanted to, but I didn't have a lot of depth there. So I ended up going more of a red green path. Spoiler, maybe we'll talk about a little later. I pulled a really good card,
Yep.
and ended up splashing it in. It's a black card. So I ended up going the red green path. It was a little bit of a big stompy boys. Used a lot of like the power, or sorry, not power. I was going to say power for a greater. It's mana cost for a greater now. That synergy. So I kind of went that. I didn't do the greatest round one. Got a little mana screw, but also the other guy kind of just had a way bigger tempo curve than I did, and I was just a little slower than he was, and he ended up beating me down pretty quick. The second game felt good against you, but obviously you got bad pulls from just your card stuff. But I think my curve was hitting. It was doing the
Yep.
things it was supposed to be doing. And then, like I said earlier, that third game, I kind of wanted to just screw around, play with some different stuff. I ended up taking stuff out of my deck. My red was definitely my best color,
Yep.
so I wanted to stay with the red. I ended up taking all the green out and pivoting to black, so I did the red black version, and I splashed a little bit of blue. I actually had a pretty good fixing, which maybe we'll talk about fixing in a little bit, but I had some pretty good fixing, so I ended up splashing it like probably three or four either black blue or some kind of blue card. That actually felt really good the last game. I think we ended up getting the win for that one. Actually, no, I think I ended up going 1-2 that last round.
Yeah,
But
here's a couple just right off the top of my head interesting things I learned about this set. My first opponent, I had heard going in because I listened to a lot of the pods going in. Limited level up, great pod.
shout out.
There was another one that I listened to that I can't remember the name of, but they said like, "Hey, this set is so synergistic. Beware the rule breaker, who just builds value deck." And actually went up against a 5-color deck my first round. He did pull the like crazy 5-color Spider-Man that gives like everybody
Like it was like
things.
Cosmic Spider or something like that.
It might be
I think it was
limited
like the name or
resources
something like that.
logos. I can't remember, but yeah. And so he never. I don't think he saw that all night, but he was trying to work for it. So he was really confusing me when he played his white blue land. I'm like, okay, I know this. And that was really interesting. It's easy to do research about this set because there's not a lot of research to do. So it's all right. He's going to be modified creatures. Then he plays a swamp, and I was like, okay, that's a little different. Then he goes and fetches a mountain, and I was like, what is this guy doing? And he did build pretty well. And one thing I think that worked out in his favor too is he played a removal on me in black, red, white, and green. He played 4 different
Mm.
colors of removal, which with a 180 card set, I thought was actually like he didn't have to work super hard. He ran a couple of the spiders, that the campus guide type spider where you go get the land, put it on top,
Mhm.
and it really helped him keep feeding his lands. He didn't ever fall too far behind me because I was missing a swamp my first game, but I still had a lot of playables. Uh, but it was really an interesting build that he built, and but I also saw a hot dog cart um
Mhm.
quite
A lot of lot a
around the
lot of people
table.
are running hot dog
A
carts.
lot of
Yeah.
people were running hot dog cart for fixing as needed. So yeah, that was really interesting. The other off the top observation I noticed, attendance not very high. Um, uh,
Mhm.
we do All Star Sports in Grand Rapids, which is usually bussin' on Friday night, and there's probably 2 full Commander games going during this pre-release, and usually it's sorry, it's sweaty in there. Usually it's very sweaty in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. I couldn't tell if obviously we haven't been to an event in probably a couple months, but
True.
I couldn't tell if just regular, like there were a handful of regulars I remember seeing, but like
Yep.
there was also a handful of like Like Jacob wasn't there, which like
Yep.
I don't know, maybe he doesn't go there anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I will say maybe it's a set. Maybe we just haven't been there in a minute to see that the numbers might just be down. But
Yeah, I wonder too. The set, I personally wasn't super like jazzed about it until I started to research it a little more and realized what they like. They built a really synergistic set that was meant to synergize with itself really, really well and really, really easily, which also goes into kind of the next thing that I was chatting with Adam a little bit about. I don't know about you, but all my games were grindy.
yeah,
The yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say like you bring up hot dog cart, right? And if you look at hot dog cart, and it was a 3 drop, I think,
Yeah.
3 drop mana rock,
Mm-hmm.
gets you any color, ends up giving you a food token too. So like it still gets you some other cardboard and some life later on. But like you think about other sets in the past. I think about War of the Machines with like the Toxic and all. I think it was that the Toxic set or maybe Brothers War or whatever it was. That set, New Capenna.
Yeah.
There's just so many of these like ultra aggro um, sets that like whether it's just the way that the culture has been building these or and like it would just been pivoting towards more aggressive or whatnot. Like in the past, something like Hot Dog Cart, you would just get steamrolled
Yeah.
if you were
Taking
running that
turn three
in your main.
off, no way.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. Like so many people were running it. It didn't feel bad when they played it. It ended up getting them ahead. I think there was just also so many like relatively big cards that were pretty impactful.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's like I'm sure there is a true aggro deck. I don't want to come out here and say like there's not a go wide. Obviously, I think it's green white or something like that has the ability to just make a lot of tokens, but for the most part, there's not a bunch of just like uh overstated 2 drops and stuff like that where you just start just beating people down. Um, so I would agree. I think it was a little bit more of a grindy set.
Yeah, and I think of Bloom Burrow where there's so many like different creatures and so many things you could do
Yeah.
on turn three, even with Offspring. Or maybe even just kill something and play a 1 drop, even in Bloom Burrow without Offspring. So there's things to do on turn three. In this turn three, there are still things to do, but if it was Hot Dog Cart, you kind of take it off, but it didn't seem like you were severely punished for it. Having said that, I did shave Hot Dog Cart for my last match, just because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. I had I splashed the Black Dot villain, requires 1 white. I did have a fetch like Evolving Wilds, but whatever this version set is, or version of that. But I was thinking about it. I think I started with my planes in hand. I think almost every game. I think 5 out of 6,
Mm-hmm.
5 out of 8 games that night. So it was just really interesting. But also with this is the other thing I think the games just took so long is because it's so synergistic. I'm a little quiet. Okay, because it's so synergistic, it is very like uh, it was very much like everything you did had a trigger to it. Everything you did had a trigger
Mm-hmm.
to it. Everything you did, um, it wasn't just like draw, play a creature, swing in with a creature, pass turn. It was like I draw. Here's a trigger here. Here's a trigger here. Okay, I don't want to activate those triggers, or I want to pass through them, and then I go to combat. And then for me, I was conniving at like once or twice a turn. By the time I was like actually hitting things, I was probably conniving like once or twice a turn. Sometimes 3 times if I was getting really like if I was like quote unquote value popping off. But there's so many other things that you can do in this set where it's just like my turn takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're also playing with their synergy, so their turn takes a long time. So I don't know, I think that just
And it's
lended.
also I was gonna say it's also like it's a pre-release, so like there's new cards, but man, if you're going to one of these things, bring some reading glasses. These cards were wordy.
100%. 100%. And there wasn't I think I said this to Adam while we were there. I don't think there's a single vanilla card in 180 cards. I don't think there's
Yeah,
a single
I
just
couldn't
like
find one.
4/4 for 4 or if it does, it has Death Touch, Reach, Ward 2, a 6/6 for 6. Um, and so I don't think there was ever a time where I just played a creature just to play a creature. Like it had
Mhm.
an ability or trigger attached to it, which made it fun. I actually had a lot of fun at this pre-release, but the games were grindy. Even the one that
Mhm.
the second one with you that I was like staying in, it was because I had all these triggers, all these value of. It didn't just kill something; it killed something and got me life, or it didn't just remove it. I wonder what would happen if I splashed a little more red just for removal. If I had hot dog cart, why not? Because that is something I did have a shock. I could have played on turn 3 and then shocked something along with it. Uh, but it felt like a lot of synergy happening all the time, which kind of moves us into like the second part I want to talk about is because obviously the pre-release it's sealed, but you're probably just doing it one time, unless you
Mhm.
like do a lot of arena sealed and grind out a lot of arena sealed. But was there any takeaways from the sealed event that you had that you're going to take into draft?
Yeah, and actually, one thing while you're talking about that too, like if people haven't heard and you don't know, you will not be playing Spider-Man in MTG Arena. This
Right.
is, I will say if you haven't heard, they did not get the digital rights to any
Yeah.
of the Spider-Man cards, which is interesting. That means like if you want to play Spider-Man and you want to be able to play out uh, Imposter Syndrome or any of the legendary Spider-Man, like you got to do it in person because you're gonna have a bunch of the same cards but just named differently with different
Yeah,
art and
you're not
that kind
going
of
to
stuff when you're in
feel like you're
MTG.
playing Spider-Man. You're just kind of
Exactly.
like feel like you're pseudo playing the off-brand, the Timu Spider-Man series.
Yeah. Um, but back to your question, like I think there's a couple takeaways that I have, and I think it kind of goes to the trends that I feel like are going to happen. Um, so one, if it's a typical draft and there's 8 people, I think hopefully you'll get spread around a little bit more. I think with this 2-person draft that they're going to start doing, I think you're going to end up with there's only 5 archetypes,
Mm-hmm.
5 typical archetypes you're going to see here.
Yep.
What I hope doesn't happen, but I think what might is that you're going to end up picking based on your rares, and then that's going to force you into whatever archetype that rare fits into. And I think you're either going to battle with someone in the first pack or two on what the archetype is, and one of you guys is going to cave because you know you're not getting to that
Yep.
archetype and have to pivot late, or someone's just going to get so many cards because they're
Yeah.
in the one archetype that happens to be wide open, and they're just going to get some crazy deck. And hey, I hope that's me most of the time, but
Yeah.
you never know how the dice are going to roll. So I think that's one thing that sticks out to me. I guess any of your thoughts on that portion of it?
Yeah, I think the drafting on arena, you're totally right. I'm just gonna like try to find the open lane, and you're gonna get cards for it, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the 4-person format. I think you're still gonna get cards in the 8-person format, just depending on um what how early you open, how early you get to the archetype you're playing versus the person who's
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the table who might be playing the same archetype. But in person, 4-person draft, this is my hot take. If I'm feeling really good about the picks I have into pack 3, only in person, I'm hate drafting. I'm hate
Yeah.
drafting because if I'm in blue black and I see just an absolute busted rare, I don't want one of the other 3 people having it. I'm taking that, and especially if I feel good about the playables I have, if I already have 20-ish playables because I've been given this lane that I'm in just so clearly, I don't think that's a terrible idea. In arena, that's not going to matter because
Yeah.
who freaking cares? You're going to go up against some random person who drafted yesterday and just hasn't got to their games yet. But I wonder, it'd be really interesting to hate draft a little bit in this set if you do get out to a store and get to play in person, which I should always recommend you do, especially you youngins, or either you're single and you don't have kids or dogs yet. Go out there, do the thing. Um, because there's this gap where you are stuck at home with your baby until they're going to be old enough to go with you, which me and Adam
Mhm.
also reference. That'll be fun someday. But why not take the busted rare? Don't give it to them. These freaking some of these cards.
If you see a Doc Ock come around, you grab that card.
Don't
For
let
those
anyone in the store have that.
for those that don't know what that card is, it's a I think it's like 6 mana, 7 mana, something like that. So it's a bomb for sure. It's 4/8. It gives all other villains +2/+2, bumps you to a maximum hand size of 8, and at your end step, you draw until you have 8 cards.
Which
It
is
is so broken.
crazy. Which was
I
crazy
played,
for limited, but crazy in general.
yeah, like because there was one guy. So unfortunately, I played two guys that both pulled them. So besides you, both other guys I played had Doc Ock.
Yep.
Um, and there's a third guy that also. So like we just happened to pull a lot of him tonight, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of wild. Or the other night, um, it felt so bad. He played him out as the last card of his hand and drew 8, and I'm just like, dude, I might as well just scoop right now. This is wild.
Yeah.
I think I did end up losing that game, but it's just like it is crazy. Um, so yeah, I think my second take is that blue black feels like it's the best. I
I
don't. It's a limited sample size, but if you look back to you look back to Innistrad when they had the blood tokens. You look back to um, when you look back to New Capenna when it was here with the Connive feature. Like the Connive feature feels so good to do when you can just start cycling through your deck. Like how many times did you feel like you were about to deck yourself because of how much you were drawing? And
Yep.
like I think you will always have good cards in your deck, just knowing like the format here and only 5 archetypes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a matter of like getting to your good cards the quickest. And
Yeah.
I don't think there was a single connive card that felt bad by itself. Like even the
Yep.
O3 card that came down on turn 2, like it's still an O3 card, even if you
Well,
send a
Stars
land,
is
like
an
it's still a
03 card,
blocker.
but
Yeah.
03 is a good blocker on turn
Blocks
2
anything
unless you
almost, yeah.
connive it right away. Now it's a 1/4.
Yeah.
In 4, I seen 4 is the magic number in this set. Simple removal. Most of it goes to 2 and 3. There's some things that spike down more than that damage, but 4 toughness is the big booty of the set. But I totally agree. And this is what the thing is I think this set is a bit of a flash in the pan where it is fun to play for the first couple times, but I mirror matched once and in limited that felt bad. Like like I said, there were also not even a lot of people there. So how many decks can you build with, 15, 20 people with 5 archetypes and 180 cards among those archetypes? It was like I said, you're kind of given a pretty clear path. Like, what's kind of the majority? What should you be playing in a sealed? But I feel like the same's gonna come around for draft, where you're gonna get kind of like I've played this deck already. I've played this deck already. I know the meta, quote unquote, which is actually what I was thinking about why this set was included in standard, because I wondered if they wanted to just like give you that standard experience in a draft or a sealed event, because it felt like standard at times where they drop a couple lands and I'm like, I know what deck they're playing. Uh, they're playing the red um, card draw, and there's some scary haste creatures I need to be aware of. I should hold my removal for their potential, like, if he discards a card, he's going to bring in a 5/4 with haste for 3 mana, and I need to be ready for that. That felt like standard to me. Um,
Mhm.
uh, when I played my third game, that was my mirror matchup. And I will say, I played against a very young new player. He was hard casting his flash creatures on his turn, and it was kind of like, ooh, I am not going to like tell him not to do that, but maybe we'll chat afterwards as to why. But like, I knew what his deck was because it was my deck. It was not
Mhm.
like he didn't play a card that surprised me, because we had the same majority of the same cards. The only thing is he got Tombstone, I think is his name. That card,
Tombstone
I
is a
would have
good card.
loved that card. I would have loved that card. And he had 2 copies of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, those were kind of my takes. It just kind of it felt good going into draft season on this set. It feels like okay, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It should be pretty easy to pick up. I'll probably get beat by people who are really good at deck building versus people who just got like pulled bombs
Hmm.
or were passed bombs.
Yeah, and I will say like blue. I say blue black felt the best, but I really think it was probably because of the consistency of it. One because of card draw. I do think that like the whole villain synergy, pretty much like every card, every
Yeah.
creature in blue black is almost a villain, and there's a lot of uh villain buffs in terms of like obviously Doc Ock being a rare and um like Mysterio being a rare and using
Yep.
villains and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But like just having stuff like that where it's an anthem and every creature be affected by it felt really good at times.
Yep.
Um, but I will say also like I don't think there's a bad color. I didn't see anybody running the like artifacts, which I think was like blue white,
Yeah, that's like
something along those lines.
modified artifacts.
Oh, modified. That's what it was. It was modified. Yeah, I didn't see anybody running that. I think majority of it was blue black. There was a couple like white green with the web slinging and stuff like that. I think the web slinging is going to be interesting because like unless you have the pigeon, unless you have a flyer that you can bounce, like it's tough to get. Like theoretically, you do want to bounce like your 1/1s or like that. There's a 1/1 uh, creature that comes in and you draw one. I think it's for
Yeah.
2. But like you have to have like crew mechanics or stuff like that where you can tap stuff and not have to attack.
Yep.
I think like that's a must-have. So if you want to build that deck and you have a lot of web slingers and stuff like that, you have some kind of a vehicle or something like that.
I agree. I agree. In when these cards do rotate into standard, all the things, all the ways to tap creatures that the set before it just gave us will be very very easy to
Like
do so.
right there's like that 1/2
There are
green tap a
lands you
creature
can
get a
crew, or
yeah.
not crew, but
True. Oh, also
what is
true.
it?
Yeah.
Station.
Station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are freaking lands you can station. So honestly, I'd say the event was great. I had a ton of fun, as I always do. I could see burnout happening pretty quickly on this set, just because of how like there's a lack of like I don't want to say creativity because I think they still will require creativity, but it'll be a nuance to it that gets kind of like, oh, I've seen this episode before, or like when you play a video game for the play through a video game for like the 150th time, you're like, oh, I remember this boss. This guy probably has 2 Mysterios, or oh, this guy probably has um, a bunch of green Spider-Man dinosaurs. Like it'll get kind of like familiar in ways that we haven't seen draft in a while. You might be able to like call the shot in like draft, be like, oh man, if they have a board wipe here, that would really suck for me. But I think this set is gonna be like, oh, they're about to discard the exact card, and you can almost like call exactly what they're gonna do, which will be
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Um, there was one final thought I wanted to have, and I hinted to it a little bit
Oh
earlier.
yeah,
Um, I went 1 and 2 for
yep,
the event. I only got to get 1 pack. Felt bad. However, the bright side is that I won the entire thing because I happened to pull the Soul Stone,
yeah,
which happens to be like a $65 card.
yep,
And for all of those who don't know, me and my opponent, my second opponent, were talking about, or my first opponent, were talking about this, and just like how many different formats this is going to live into. So for those that don't know what it is, it's a 1 black artifact. It's indestructible, and it's a mana rock. So it just gives you 1 black. So already that's going to be a commander set. That's going to be potentially a standard, like just if it was 1 black, indestructible, give you a black mana. But on top of that, you can throw Gamora into the abyss by tapping 6 and a black and harnessing the Soul Stone. Um, which allows you to then, at the beginning of every upkeep, or at the beginning of all your upkeeps, you get to return a creature to the battlefield. Period. I got to do this twice. It felt so good.
I believe
Like
it.
you're just reanimating everything. You're chump blocking, reanimating it, getting enter the battlefield abilities. It was wild. Takes a while to get there with 7 mana, and you have to exile a creature on the battlefield. But yeah, it felt good when you got there.
I will also say, here was my feel good, not feel good. Mysterio feels so good to play, even if you only have 1 or 2 villains out, and feels so bad when it's removed. I'm not going to go so far as to say it's a trap, because especially if you are patient enough to do it late game and like most of their removal's gone, you're probably going to win the card. You're probably going to win the game. But in the mid range, when they have -3/-3, deal 3 damage, destroy tapped creature, it's gonna be really, really. It feels so bad when it's just gone and all those tokens are just gone, just evaporated.
Mm.
Unless you were to find a way to pair it with like, make them
A
punish.
sack outlet or
Yeah,
something like that,
punish
or yeah.
someone for, like getting rid of them. Of like, I think of some of the in standard cards that deal 1 every time a creature of yours dies. That might feel bad. To just like
Mhm.
kill their creature and then you take 3, 4, 5 damage. I don't know. Anyways, good stuff. Good stuff. If you're watching this or listening to this, it in September of 2025. There's still time to sign up for our standard tournament. Just join our Discord, drop your name in. We're just doing bracket style, and we're going to give out a ton of packs for whoever wins. And October will start, but you have just a little bit amount of time to see how these Spider-Man cards might sneak into your deck or not. So, yeah, it'll be a fun event. And like I said, it's free. So if you're just a member of our Discord, just join really easily on there. Drop your name. We'll get you in the bracket, and then we'll send you some free packs, real cardboard, if you win. Thanks again to Adam for offering his insight. I considered him an expert, even if he might not.
I don't know about that.
I think you win more than you lose, and in this in this card game, that's not always easy.
I do love me some limited. I do love me some
Yes.
limited.
All right, so we're gonna kill it, and find us anywhere else you can find us. Follow us anywhere you can find us: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the good stuff. If you love D&D, we have a live D&D playthrough that you should absolutely listen to, because it's a lot of fun, and we stream a lot of video games here on Twitch. But that's for another night. Tonight, we are wrapping up. So until we see you right here